Today, I'm going to share with you exactly how to level up your mind to become the 10%. What do I mean by the 10%? If you look at many statistics when it comes to any kind of change for us as people, building a business, transforming our body, our minds, whatever it may be, if you look at it, typically about 90% of people fail. When it comes to most goals and changes that they want to make in their lives, majority of them tend to fail. I believe there's two reasons behind this. After studying this stuff for the past 8 to 9 years, but also manifesting and creating my own personal dream life, I've noticed there's two main pieces that hold most of us back when we're trying to change. And mind you, it's not our fault. Typically it is, number one, it is we are victims of our past programming. And what I mean by that is that up until the age of about 7 or so, you have what we call open neurons. And you're like a sponge. You're just sucking in everything into your subconscious mind. You're learning everything about the world, patterns, how to show up, how to act in the world. You learn based off your society, culture, family, the whole 9 yards. And then eventually that creates an identity. So this is where your ego and the logic mind really starts to take over. If you ever look at a baby, for example, babies are so beautiful, like they just live in the moment. They act on their highest joys. They don't really judge themselves. They fall down. They're not like, hey, you're a piece of crap. You suck. You're not strong enough. No, a baby is just a baby. They're just being, just like an animal, right? You ever look at a dog? They're just playing. They're just enjoying themselves. They're in that moment. Now, somewhere down the line, though, in our lives, the ego and the logic came, and the programming came, where for some reason now you're not good enough. You don't believe in yourself. You don't have confidence to talk to people anymore. All those things, all these labels that we put on ourselves and other people, right? And all this judgment, all this crap. So that's number one, is that we literally become victims of our past programming, and we don't even realize it because it's all in our subconscious mind, which runs about 94 to 96% of our lives. So it's just a constant pattern. Number two is our animalistic mind. When I say animalistic mind, I mean logic, ego, and negative emotions. Fear, doubt, worry, all those things. When I say animalistic mind, think of a dog, right? They are in that animalistic way. They see another dog and they fight, like they get instantly angry and protective. Our humans don't do that. I hope not, right? For the most part, that would be crazy. So that part takes over when let's say we do step number one, we realize our past programming, right? And then we work through, try to change it. Well, every change is going to be uncomfortable in one way or another because you're stepping into the unknown. You're shedding off your old self to become your new self, which I'm going to explain how and why that's important. So as you're doing that, there is that uncomfortable layer that you have to shed off. Those old limiting beliefs, fears, doubts that you might not even realize you have. Could be around money, relationships, dating, people, so many different things it could be. So when we're trying to make that change, the logic and the animalistic brain comes in, and then it brings us backwards. It instills fear and doubt, and as the brain's only mission is to keep you alive, safe and secure. What's safe and secure? It's going back to your old habits and patterns. And if you study Joe Dispenza, you should know that with neuroplasticity and how this works is that neurons that fire together wire together. So if growing up you were always told that you're never good enough, or if you ate food growing up, for example, and someone made fun of you and your weight, and that kept happening over and over again, then you start thinking about it and obsessing about it, and then you felt really bad about yourself. Those are going to start wiring together and then firing together, and it becomes an addiction. Okay, emotionally we crave it, like it or not we do, because again, the brain loves habits. It wants what's predictable because that's how it knows it's safe. So any kind of change is going to be a little bit uncomfortable, especially with the perspective or the lens that we look at it in. If we don't have any help, that's for sure. Like for example, let me just ask you, if all these other people can lose weight, if people can do miraculous things in this world, transform in the highest levels possible, why can't you? Really think on that for a second. Like, don't just take the words in and let it go. Actually genuinely reflect on that. You know, if these people can lose weight, if these people can build these businesses, why can't you? Seriously, why can't you? And this is what I think happens. And this is the raw truth, is that you must realize that you are 100% responsible for your life, and you are actually the creator. You are the creator of your life. Things are not just happening spontaneously. Things are not just happening out of the blue. And that's okay if you're in a struggle right now in your life. We all go through struggles, right? Oftentimes the ego and the logic mind doesn't like to admit that stuff, right? Or societal programming. Like, for example, men have a hard time going to therapy, getting help, talking about their feelings. Societal programming. It's like installed into us. So most of us don't really like to admit or talk about our problems because it's really uncomfortable, right? But we must realize that we're not the victims of our lives. Like, we don't have to be the victims anymore. You don't have to be a victim of your past programming. It's okay to be going through struggles and challenges, but it's not okay to give up your personal power and to sit there and suffer when you don't need to. Because once you realize that it's all on you, you are 100% responsible, and that's okay. Remember, when I'm talking about this, the logical mind, the ego is going to be like, hey, that's not true. Like, this happened to you, and that's why you are where you are, and you're struggling with your weight or your life, or your finances, or whatever it may be. It's all just past programming. Okay, it's why people who have a poor mindset and struggle with finances, when they win the lottery, within about 5 years or so, 80% plus of them end up losing all of it. And they don't become wealthy because it's not in their programming. Or it's why many people who get a weight loss surgery or follow all the programs, right? So many of them end up failing because it's not the plan you need, it's the identity, it's who you are. So again, it's okay if we're strong. We all go through struggles. I go through struggles all the freaking time. All the freaking time I go through different challenges because I'm always trying to level up and grow. So it's okay, but you got to take responsibility for your life if you want things to change. You can't just put it out there and say, I hope things are going to change for me. Or I can't hit these goals because what you'll realize that whatever is keeping you stuck in that prison right now in your life, either if it is with your business, your finances, your relationships, your confidence, your self-esteem, your just the life that you're living, your body, your health, whatever it may be, you'll realize that any excuse that we have or belief about our situation, and it doesn't feel, it's most time it won't feel good. I am this because of this. It's not going to feel good. And anything that doesn't feel good is not universally true. It's always tied to a limiting belief or a fear. Anything that's not universally true, anything that's negative and not a good emotion is not universally true. Oh, I can't hit this new business goal because I'm not good enough or I'm not smart enough. Is that universally true? When you were born, did God or the universe say, hey, this person's going to hit this plateau because they're not good enough to that point? No, that's BS. That's a story that we're telling ourselves that was from some past program that doesn't even matter. What matters is what you're going to do moving forward about it. If it doesn't serve you, if it doesn't feel good, why keep it? So what I'm really trying to show you here, we're going to dive deeper and deeper, is that you are the creator of your life. And the second you really realize that, and you believe in it, everything's going to change for you. You're listening to somebody right now. I'm 25 years old. I've built already my dream. And I'm building it and building it more because there's always levels to it. But I've written down exactly what I want in my life. And to this date, I've accomplished most of it, if not all of it, by this age. I've built a pretty good business at the age of 19 that I've been living off for the last 4 to 5 years, where I can travel and live my dream and help people and do what I want to do. I became a funded day trader, 2%. I'm only sharing this stuff with you guys because I want to show you that's actually real. There's nothing special about me or anything like that. It's literally, I just did this process. When I was really young, I figured out this process, and I spent the last 8 to 9 years of my life being obsessed with it. because I hate to see people suffer and struggle. Because I used to be that way. I used to hate myself. I used to look in the mirror and hate that body so much that I was in. I used to have no confidence. I wouldn't talk to people. I would follow other people. I would dress the same. My friends would wear these diamond clothes, the popular brand back then, and I would order it off AliExpress. Because my mom, she didn't want me to go buy from the store because, you know, I didn't think buying an expensive shirt like that was even worth it. But I'd get it off AliExpress. And I'd wear it and stuff and try to be like them. And then I was also a follower. I wasn't following my dreams in life. I was going to sell all my dreams, all my hopes, and just go do what everybody else wanted me to do, what their plan was. I was living as a victim and just in past programming. I wasn't being the creator. But once I realized that I actually can create my life and my reality, and this is actually the real deal, everything's changed in the last years. Every single thing has changed. And it's changed for the absolute best. And the quicker we can grasp this, the quicker our manifestations and our goals will come true. I can promise you, I promise you that. When you grasp this after this training, it will change your entire life. At least it has for mine and many, many, many of my clients as well. Not only just their bodies and health. They leave old jobs. They find themselves. They build that self-belief. They learn how to speak up when they've always felt like they're trapped. They had massively unhealthy relationships with food that they're now healing. You can do this as well. So moving onwards, I'm going to look at my notes here for a second because I don't want us to get lost as we go down. So here's one thing we must understand when it comes to this whole process is that the inner changes the outer. We often think, and this is again that animalistic ego and logic mind, right? We often think the outer changes the inner, which means I will see to believe. I see that things are not changing. I'm doing the work. Well, let me ask you, does a version of you who's already at that goal and dream, do they think and feel like that? No, they don't doubt themselves. They're there. So the more that you reflect that in your reality and say, hey, I'm not at my goal, I'm not at my goal, I'm not at my goal, things are not working out. Thoughts and emotions that wire together, fire together. So that will become a pattern and that will become your reality because your emotions influence the way you show up and take action. And the way you take action produces the results in your life, right? And over time that influences your belief system. And it becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. That's a really hard one to grasp, but once we can grasp that, so much can change. So we must understand that the inner changes the outer. So if you want to change your life, right, don't sit back and wait for it to happen. You just be it now. Just imagine yourself. If it's a dream car that you want right now, if it's a body, if it's a mindset, if it's a health, if it's spirit, whatever it may be, imagine what it would feel like to already accomplish it. Truly grasp the feeling of what it's like. What is the main statement? What is the main feeling of it? Once you grasp that, you want to stay in that state nonstop because your feeling, eventually it's going to influence your thoughts. Those are going to connect, wire together, start firing together. It's going to change your actions. It's going to change the results in your life. And this is where we level up our frequency because the version of you who you want to be is right here. They're just on a different frequency. How I like to explain this is think of a radio station or a TV. You know, you're watching channel 100. Channel 90 is playing right here at the same time. You just can't hear it or see it because you're not tapped in, tuned into it. You're stuck on channel 100. Here's a live example. People who are lucky, right? And people who are unlucky. Lucky people are positive. Lucky people believe they're lucky. Lucky people think and feel lucky. So therefore, lucky people look for lucky opportunities. They search for them. They're zoned into it. They're tapped into that frequency of luck. Therefore, they end up getting lucky. Not all the time, but they don't pay attention to that because they believe they're a lucky person. So even when circumstances pop up that don't align with them, it goes away because it's not who they are. But take the unlucky person, for example. They feel that they're unlucky. Everything's a scam. It's not going to work for me. I have the worst luck in the world, right? Just negative. So that's their lens that they're searching through life. So that's what they're going to look for, because the brain doesn't want to be wrong. The brain wants to find evidence for what it believes to be true, because that's calm and secure, right? So we'll look for that evidence. So even if an opportunity's coming by, the lucky person's over there grabbing it. The unlucky person's like, nah, it's a scam. It's not for me. It's not going to work. So they don't take action on it. It influences their actions, and therefore the results show up. And it's the same thing over and over again, right? It's like you want the red car, you start seeing the red car. Before, you didn't even think about the red car, you never saw the red car. Oh my gosh, the red car was always there. Now you're just tapped into that frequency. So as we break through our limiting beliefs and our past programming, right, we shed off the old layers ourselves. We start thinking, feeling differently. We start acting differently. We start getting different results. We become a brand new person. And that is how the law of attraction actually works, is that you shift, you close the lens of this reality, you open the lens on a new frequency, a new reality, and that's the lens that you live in your life. How I like to look at things, and also it doesn't matter if you have certain beliefs, if you're an atheist, whatever it may be. This ties into everything: spirituality, science, quantum physics, neuroscience, the whole 9 yards. It's all connected if you can find the patterns in it. And again, it works. It worked for me. It works for all my clients. It works for, look at all the most successful people in the world. What do they always say? They think positive. They think of abundance. They feel it, right? They visualize their success before it even happens. So what I'm telling you is that if you want to accomplish your dreams, if you're watching this right now saying this is BS, things don't work out for me, you're not going to change. Your life is just going to keep going the same way. But if you're watching this and you actually take genuine action on this and you start feeling, thinking that way, and mind you, I have so much respect for you if you do, because it's a courageous act, because it is hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to take some time. You have to be willing to go through that and have so much trust and faith that is going to happen. And one of the keys here that I'm going to leave you off with today to create your reality so much faster is focus on staying in alignment. And what alignment means is act on your highest joys. Act on that highest feeling that's aligned with your dream self. For me, my feeling, that dominant feeling with this next version of myself that I'm creating is freedom. So every single day, I'm just putting myself in that high state, feeling that freedom now, being it now, acting like it now, believing it now. And any resistance that pops up, like for example, old money blocks. I used to believe that you have to work super hard to make money, and that money is very overwhelming and stressful. So what can you imagine? Every time you'd make money, you go back into this pattern of overwhelm and stress, right? Same thing with weight loss. If you believe weight loss is hard, you will find a way to make that true, but it doesn't have to be. So if you can get into this frequency, the feeling of what it's like to already be at your goal, and then you show up that way every single day and you start thinking like that and feeling like that, those new neurons will wire together and they'll start firing together, and you'll take action like that. And watch your life change so effortlessly, because you will enjoy it, because it'll be who you are and what you do. And you're always feeling that good feeling. I know it sounds crazy. For some of you, it might sound like it can't be that easy. It can't be that true. It is. You were sold a lie off of old fears and doubts and the way that, culture and society and people are. But look at all the successful people, but not even successful people, because when I say success, most of you think about money. Most of you thinking about material success. A lot of people with material success are very unhappy. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have that stuff, right? But it's got to be aligned with you. You got to feel good about it. It's got to be a part of your personal dream. So when I say success, though, it is the person who is almost enlightened. They're in that flow of their life. They're living their dream. They're living their purpose. They're 100% aligned. Because at the end of the day, do whatever you want, but know that it's all up to you and that you are the creator of it. And that, guys, is a training for today. So I'm going to ask you for one thing, please. This is my dream, is I want to help people follow their dreams and create their dream selves. And I'm on that path right now. So if you genuinely like this training, if this had an impact on you, if this helped you think and feel it differently, or whatever it may be, like, subscribe. And if you need any kind of help, I'm right here for you. Follow your dreams. You got one life. Let's make it amazing.